Good morning. So it is Sunday morning. We're going to head to the farmer's market, which is very exciting. We've run out of pickles because we ate them all, and that is a good sign. I made 2 small jars, and it's a good sign that we clearly love them. So I'm going to go and try and see if I can get as many more pickling cucumbers so we can redo those today. We're also finally going to try to make some English muffins and use everything in the house to kind of prepare food and make it in a way that means we're going to eat it this week, or put it in the freezer because we're going away for a sort of 9-day road trip for my birthday, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, so we're going to head to the farmer's market now. We might also get some kimchi and things like that last a long time, but yeah, I'm excited to take you with me today and get some food prep and some house prep done before we go away.
That was made for you and me. I am the ship and you are the sea. You are the sea.
We're going to get started on those pickling cucumbers after washing everything. But first, I'd like to talk just a little bit about today's sponsor. I first heard of AG1 a few years ago when my parents started drinking it religiously after listening to many podcasts by Andrew Huberman and Rangan Chatterjee. Like me, they were drawn to the science-driven formulation of vitamins and probiotics that could help support gut health and more focus and energy. Especially being vegan, I'm very conscious about trying to make sure that I get in as many vitamins and minerals as possible. I find it incredibly helpful to replenish my daily micronutrients, especially on workout days, considering I'm hiking and biking and climbing and doing a lot of different workouts at the moment. It's so important for me to keep up with all of my health goals. And with those heavier squat reps, magnesium has definitely helped with muscle soreness. If you're interested in checking out AG1 for yourself, then head to the link in my description below to get a free 1-year supply of AG vitamin D3 and K2, plus 5 AG1 travel packs with your first purchase of AG1. Okay, so we didn't get very much from the farmer's market. We just got pickles, or pickling cucumbers to make pickles. We got 1 squash. It's actually amazing if you walk around Denver. So many people have sprawling squash plants just all over their front yard and that piece of grass between the pavement and the road. And there are so many squash growing. It's kind of wild. We were also walking past Wash Park the other day and someone's cucumber plant had come through their fence and all the way out onto the green bed just outside their fence and was producing so many cucumbers, and we looked and we saw these absolute beasts, like they were huge. So apart from that, we also got a few yellow squash. I don't know why I didn't think to grow those, but I guess I just didn't know. Yeah, so apart from that, we also got some vegan kimchi. Yeah, the vegan one, obviously, from Cream's Kimchi. This is a really small company based out of Denver that started during the pandemic, and he uses his mum's recipe, and honestly, it's the best kimchi ever. And it's great that you can get it from the farmer's market. You can also get it from H Mart as well. And then he also makes another vegan kimchi, which is a cucumber one. This is really good. And what's nice is that they put everything on the front so you can see exactly what the ingredients are. It obviously also still says vegan too. These will last a really long time, depending on how quickly we eat these. So I'm gonna put these in the fridge and then we're gonna get started on the pickles and then the English muffins. Although I haven't made the English muffins before, so this is a bit of an experiment. I'm just hoping it goes well. So while I'm making the pickling cucumbers, Frank is actually outside waterproofing my jacket for me and his as well for our upcoming road trip. I also tried to use all the pickling juice from our last one. It wasn't quite enough, so I'm just making a little bit more, adding lots of garlic cloves this time because I just absolutely loved the previous recipe. I just wanted to add a few more things to make it a bit more interesting. And that's it. It's one of my favorite pickles, and I'm going to continue making it as long as possible. I also decided to make some focaccia because I'm going to make some garlic confit, and I just thought that those would be a match made in heaven. I'm also pre-making a pasta salad for the next week, and this is one of my favorite things. I kind of make this in every kitchen restock video that I do, but it's just a chickpea salad with lots of different things like dill and mustard and lettuce, pickles, pickle juice and pasta and some vegan mayonnaise. It's delicious. Okay, I haven't made garlic confit for a really long time, but garlic is definitely in season right now. Everyone is pulling up and curing their garlic, so I just put all of these cloves in here. I also tried that garlic trick that everyone does in the jar and it just did not work for me at all. So I painstakingly peeled all of these and I cook it on really low for a few hours. You know it's ready when the garlic is translucent. With the focaccia, I'm trying a new method of doing some kind of folds instead, just to see if it helps to really increase the puffiness, which, to be honest, if you see it here, I think that it really did. I'm also collecting some tomatoes from the garden, which is incredibly rewarding. And we're going to be putting these on top of the focaccia as well, because we are suddenly getting loads of ripe cherry tomatoes. I honestly feel so lucky every time I pick one. I pressed these in and then I added some garlic confit and then I added some of the garlic confit oil as well. And I baked it in the oven for about 35-40 minutes. If you don't live at elevation, you only need to cook it for about 30 minutes. Good morning everyone. So yesterday we did our garlic confit. It got pretty late, so it got dark before I was able to show you the full results, so I'll show that to you now. And we also made some focaccia. I decided to make that because I wanted to experiment with some of the tomatoes we had in the garden and putting some of that confit garlic on top. Honestly, it was a great decision. It's a really fun thing for me to experiment by making the same thing but different variations over and again, so we can kind of get a sense of what we can do and flavors we can explore with just a few simple ingredients. What else? We did the pickles, which were really good. I made that salad. I really like to try and prep at least one lunch for the week so that it makes it so much easier and can save time throughout the week when we're just trying to get stuff done. And then what else? I saved all of the skins for the garlic because I'm going to dry these out in the fridge and make garlic powder out of them. There are only a couple of bits in here that I won't use, but apart from that, none of this has to be wasted, none of it has to go to the worms. We can use this and use that in our cooking later as well. Okay, it's time to do those English muffins. I don't know why I've been putting it off. I think it's because it's a new recipe and it's a new experiment and I'm worried it might go wrong, but that's how I managed to perfect my English crumpet recipe, from honestly trying it over and over and over again to get the exact right consistency of the batter so that we could get the perfect consistency of crumpet. Okay, let's just go for it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's okay. Also, the mushrooms I'm growing have suddenly really taken off. I'm growing blue oyster mushrooms and pink oyster mushrooms. And the blue ones have literally quadrupled, maybe times 10 in size since yesterday. So let me show you. You can absolutely bet that I procrastinated on those English muffins even more and decided to try and make vegan frittatas instead, using tofu rather than egg. This was a pure experiment. I just fried off some mushrooms and some onions, and then into a blender I put some firm tofu, nutritional yeast, baking soda, salt, pepper, and then also some confit garlic because I thought why not, black pepper, almond milk, and gave it a real blend to make it as thin as possible. Then I also wilted some spinach, put it into these teeny tiny things after having really well oiled it, added them in like this, which was probably a mistake, some chives from the garden, and then I cooked them for a really long time. They looked like this, which is kind of weird, but they tasted fine. Would I say these was good? No, but I will try again. Okay, it's a few days later. I've been procrastinating making these English muffins. I'm not quite sure why. I think I'm having flashbacks from when I tried to make crumpets for the first time. Did I mention this earlier? I probably did, and because it's been a few days, I've just forgotten. But yeah, it took me so many iterations to get it right. Although, interestingly, when I got the mixture too thick for the crumpets, they actually ended up more like English muffins. which is kind of weird. Anyway, but the procrastination is over. I couldn't find anywhere a muffin cutter or a cookie cutter or a cake cutter. So I'm just gonna use, let me show you. So I'm just gonna use the top of this French mason jar because it's a lot wider than the ball ones that I have here. Weirdly enough, I saw these for sale in Whole Foods for like $10, which seems pretty wild just for one mason jar. I got this from my parents. They actually bought a bunch of canned stuff when they were in France, and they come in these jars when you buy them from the market. So this one was essentially free for me. Although they obviously had to pay for the jar, but the jar can't be that expensive. Anyway, again, am I procrastinating? Let's make these English muffins. It's an experiment. I've just got to accept it's an experiment. And if it doesn't go well, it doesn't go well. That's okay. That's just the first iteration. And then we're gonna keep recipe testing until we perfect those recipes, just like we did with those crumpets. My mum actually sent this to me. She got it from a small tea shop called Badger's Tea Room in East Sussex, or West Sussex, or East Sussex, I'm not quite sure which one, but I think it's in Alfriston, I'm not quite sure. So those of you who've been asking me where I got this from, it's from Badger's Tea Room. They don't sell them online. They're a tiny tea shop in a tiny town in the south of England. Okay, let's do this.
I've been trying to be different than my father, to be more like my mother, and change for you. Please believe me, I'm surely on my way. More and more each day I feel myself start to...
Okay, I had to let the dough rise for about 2 hours, so I took a quick break and went climbing. And now we have to shape them, I think. Well, that's what we're gonna do.
I'm changing every day for you.
Yes!
It's a
Okay.
journey full of ups and downs. Every step I take, I feel myself start to let go.
These are a pretty good fast go. Okay, see you next time.